goose fight. So the mama goose just had her gosling, and so it seems like the tensions are high amongst the male geese as to who's like the supreme daddy or something. So there's the baby gosling. Everybody's very it was kind of a like peacemaker. Sneak in there with some of the puppies. You got lost? That's not your mom, dude. Yeah, I'm just putting him back. Squint over. Just want to go to sleep. Very concerned about who's around baby goose. Where you going, Belle? Tradition. Then you want to go check for some duck eggs with Daddy? No. You want to go check for some?
Yep. That's you want to take a video?
Sure.
If there's any duck eggs in here. There's a couple, so I'm gonna go ahead and move it and gather the eggs. All right, 10 moves, ducks. Alright, here's the duck eggs. Benny, how many eggs do we have? 1, 2. Looks like there's 2 today. Not very many.
Lots to make eggs, huh? Pigs are the newest animal addition to the farm this year. We wanted to make more permanent beds in our garden. We didn't want to till it with a tractor. So we thought that pigs would be the easiest way to do that. And they obviously make meat while they're doing so. So we have 5 here. These 3 right here will be to have babies. So hopefully in about July of this year they will get pregnant, and then around November we'll have some piglets, and then next summer we'll have some bacon. We've been moving them in this 4-hog panel setup since we got them a couple months ago, and it's been working out really good. We made this little house, a farrowing shed for them, and that also has a dolly like you saw with the ducks. So Isaiah can move that every day and they can have fresh grass. And now we have them in our orchard. You can see there's trees here. So they will essentially just be putting the grass down and laying down some fertilizer as well. And we'll be moving them even more often because we don't want them to totally till up the ground here. We just want them to kind of cut down the grass. They will eat the grass and some of the different weeds that grow. And them stomping on the ground and even making mud puddles helps put in some new seeds into the ground and create a little bit more diversity, so that's helpful for us too. So far, we didn't really know how it would go, but so far we're really liking having pigs on the farm. Huh, do you like piggies? It's really interesting to see their personalities, and whenever I come up, they always want to see if I have any treats for them, and they're pretty funny. But they're getting fat.
Here's a mama. Taking a break.
Go this way.
No. Mom,
Yeah,
bye.
bike's right there.
The squash coming up? Yeah. The squash?
This is a melding of spring and summer. We planted snap peas down both sides of this middle row here, and then tomatoes right in the middle of the rows, and they'll be trellised up to this wire. But for now the peas are still there and the tomatoes have not been trellised yet, so it's just kind of a big conglomeration of plants in the middle.
I never knew this before starting these greenhouses, but they'll put a coating on the plastic that evens the light. So it evenly distributes the light over the whole thing rather than concentrated light in certain spots, which clear plastic would do. So most greenhouses will have a coating on the plastic to just give even light. But yeah, it seems like everything grows better in tunnels. Which I think that's actually partially due to less wind going through it. So there's more carbon in the air that's staying there, because the earth actually breathes, inhales and exhales over 24 hours. So when the carbon is in the air, the plants take it in, and that's one of the main ingredients for growing. So with less wind, the carbon is staying where the plants are growing, and that helps them grow a little bit faster. Usually, I usually call them when I'm going to move them, so when they hear me calling them, they're excited and ready to get some fresh grass.
Expecting a treat.
But I think should we call the cattle over? Maybe they'll come running over the hill. Call them. You want to try? Come on, cattle! Come on! Come on, cattle! Yeah, so the cattle are finishing up their first rotation on the farm here, and once they're done in this paddock, I'll start the second round. And basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move them, once the grass is grazed, just one bite off of each plant is the goal, because the energy is at the top of the plant. And that's what the cattle always go for. So if you watch cattle graze, you'll see them just kind of nipping off the tops of the plants, or a lot of this grass has actually gone to seed. So they actually will eat the seeds. Yeah, so once the grass is grazed, I'll move it to their next paddock. And typically in a year, they'll only be on the same piece of ground about 3 or 4 times. So the majority of the year, the grass is resting and regrowing. And what that's doing is basically the cattle come in, they prune off the top of the grass, and what's happening underground is the roots die back just a little bit. And once the cattle move on and the grass plant is allowed to regrow, the top of the grass regrows and the roots also regrow. So what's happening is the grass is pulling carbon out of the air and putting it down into the root system. And then the roots die back when the top gets pruned off, and that feeds the soil life with the carbon. So it's kind of this carbon pump that we're trying to create with the grass, and the cattle are just kind of the instigator to make that happen. What I'm trying to do throughout the growing season is once they take that first bite and then I move them off, the plant regrows a little bit taller the second time. So I'm actually trying to stockpile grass even though it's being grazed. And that will give me more food for the herd in the winter. I mean, it's kind of a beautiful harmony that you're going for, because with the grass not being overgrazed, it allows, you know, a proper rest period, keeps the ground covered, which next week we're actually forecasting high 90s. And the soil will be most active, I should say the soil life is most active when it's about 70 to 75 degrees. So by keeping it covered and not overgrazing, we're keeping the soil shaded, and that allows the life in the soil to continue its work without getting too hot. So it's really critical when you have dry weather or very hot weather like next week to keep it covered. I run my herd with just one herd. I don't split up. You know, a lot of people will take the bulls out for breeding, to control the breeding, I should say. I've left my bulls in year round, and you know, so far that's actually worked very well. Most of the cows have their calves early spring, which is, you know, similar to animals like such as the deer out here, following kind of nature's cycle. When there's, you know, new spring growth, there's abundance of food, that's when they have their calves. And you know, in the summer is when they typically will breed back. So it has worked very well. I haven't had to, you know, separate the herd, which does cause stress. You know, like any family, when you separate siblings or parents from their children, it stresses them out. So I try to keep them all together, and it has worked very well up to this point.